Will Skubal come back to Detroit with his house on fire? Will we see a monster? Will the Boston Red Sox live up to its expectations here with these New York Yankees? Find out now on the best baseball show at 12 p.m. It's Bases Loaded.
A huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded. High noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged.
Shark, it's not every day I get to open the show, but what a privilege that was for me. We have a busy weekend ahead, you guys, here at the Sports Money Network, and it's going to start right here, right now. In fact, we're already behind. We started off the programming this morning with the Morning Steam and Ramon Scott, giving you guys a full card breakdown. The FCS, a big hit yesterday. A lot of you guys loved seeing the full card breakdown out there, getting ready to attack it as well. So lots of stuff happening here. Of course, we've got a busy afternoon, goes into the evening, Shark. And then guess what? Tomorrow, we kick off at 3 a.m. We're going to fire off with the UFC in, I think they're in Shanghai, man. I got 4 or 5 plays already geared up for that. But this card, Shark, this one here, not to mention the other ones that were fantastic. Another busy day. We had the Astros, the Kansas City, first 5 and full game. The Dodgers melted, but Wisniewski put up over 4.5 strikeouts at that plus 120. It was a good day, my friend. How about you? How you feeling about this Friday card? Are you ready to attack?
Yeah. I was catching a little raise outside, being lackadaisical. No, I wasn't. I'm ready to fire. It's a beautiful show coming, guys. As I like to say, questions answered in the show. And Mike, we got a nice little card today. 15 games. We got an afternoon game in Chicago. And if you guys are in the chat, JP's in the house. Stop Geo, Razor, and others. If you guys are on the East Coast, guys. It is the final Friday of August, believe it or not. We've made it to almost September. We have college football tomorrow, as Mike said. 4 different sports going off on the Sports Money Network. And, of course, my guys in Sharky Waters Nation as well. And if you guys are on the West Coast, get some coffee and get ready to dominate. It is a suddenly not so casual Friday, August the 28th, 2026. Mike, give it a great recap from yesterday. Let's continue domination this afternoon. Mike, let's get to business and let's get into the card. First game on the card, 2:20. In Chicago. We talked about this one going back 2 days ago when the Cubs were on the West Coast and coming home for this matinee in the division. Reds, Cubs, final series of the year, I believe, maybe 2 more. I'm not entirely sure. Lowder at Peterson. Mike, we are going to Chicago. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon there. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not in love with this game. I'll have action on it because I'm a degenerate and I like to be involved in afternoon activities here. Certainly some soccer as well, but this feisty squad in the Chicago Cubs, if you saw it yesterday, some mucking around. They were PCA almost got ejected in the game as well. Rhett Lowder's a pile, so I don't want to back this Cincinnati squad. I suppose David Peterson here does have the edge, but it's an ugly one, and it certainly could get carried away pretty quickly. But history says this type of game goes to the under. You know, I've talked about the unique spot. There's a couple of scheduling spots on the card today that we'll talk about, and this is one of them where it's like that 2:20 spot in Chicago on a Friday. Has a little Yankee Stadium feel to it out there. I think this is one of those spots where we can see a tighter game here early in the afternoon, and boys want to get this thing over with, done with, go out in Chicago, have a nice big fat steak, maybe a couple cocktails, and then get ready for tomorrow's action. So I'm of the same boat here. I'll go with the under. Reds on the road against the National Leagues have been unders as well. So lots of things here point to the under 8.5. It's not my favorite spot, but I think you can get there with Cincinnati's team total under as well.
Yeah, tough game, honestly. When I was going through this before, I was friendly reminded. David Peterson traded at the deadline for the Mets. Actually did have one home start at 2:20 on a Friday with the Cubs, and it was an absolute disaster. It was the worst start of his career. 10 earned runs in a 17-1 loss against the Cardinals. Mike and I were on there on that Friday, and we actually did give you guys the over in the game for that reason. But the key point on that line was 9.5, 10. This is 8.5. So the books know this stuff too, of course. The books think he's going to improve here. He had one kind of a one-off, an outlier. He will improve in this matchup. And, if you want to improve in professional baseball in late August 26, you get the Cincinnati Reds on the card. They will give you that availability to improve. They are a terrible baseball team. Ultimately, what I think is going to happen here, I think the Cubs are going to win. I think it's overpriced, Mike. I do not like this game. I think this is one of those 180-plus lines, suggesting a one-run win, plus 1.5, also kind of pricey. Rhett, Lowder, not good numbers at Wrigley. But again, kind of a stinky underline here, potentially. Kind of a funky game, Mike. Do we have anything in this game, or we just keep it moving?
Yeah, I'm on the under. I'm going to go with the under 8.5 here for some action. And then I'm looking at this team total as well. I think you can get, I see a 9 actually for the total here. Minus 122. There's a couple of books that have these 9s. So I think, contrary to the opinion, I think you do see a great game from David Peterson. I think he goes out there and pitches a quality start. I think he has no problem handling the Cincinnati bats. They've been way too, what's the word? Way too, I can't think of your Sharkyism. I'm sure you'll.
Opportunistic.
Opportunistic. I was going to say that's not the one I was thinking of. But
wait, say that again. I'll give you a ringer. What's the phrase I'm looking for here? What's the Sharkyism? You guys help me out here. A little too top heavy, a little too market cap.
Market cap. Thank you. Goodness gracious.
And opportunistic kind of does correlate in there. It's opportunistic, guys. Little vocabulary doesn't mean just beautifully taking an opportunity. It has some sinister environment in it. It's actually, if you see something where you can have an angle, you actually kind of drive it in a negative direction. So opportunistic, word of the day, not necessarily a positive word, but Mike, I agree with you. As I said, Peterson did get shelled in this spot on a 10. It's moved down, but under's the best look in this game. Any final comments?
I used to work with a guy that was a real scumbag. And every time he got called out for being a scumbag, my boss would be like, he's just opportunistic. And I was like, dude, he's a fucking scumbag. He's like literally robbing and cheating from his own teammates. And his perception was he's opportunistic. What up, LAX auction in the house? Stop Geo J Peasy, man. It is Friday, you guys. Papa Ricky says, how you doing, Survivor Pool? I haven't heard. My friend, we sure are. I posted it on Twitter a couple days ago. And I will post it on the community tab. All can access it. A great Survivor. It's super low cost to enter. Huge payouts here. There's, I think I'm in the 5 pool option. That's like $250K in total prizes out there. And I'll tell you what, I can validate it again. Raise your hand if you won the World Cup. I did. I might have been the best fucking World Cup player on the planet. And they already paid me. Within 2 weeks, they paid me out for that stuff. That was a free contest that they have out there as well. So stay tuned. Look to the community post tab for more information on how to enter the Survivor Pool this year. Football's right around the corner. In fact, we had FCS. I had a terrific day yesterday in preseason football. Shark, are you a preseason football bettor?
No, I'm not. I actually had the Patriots game on last night, and I was remarking to some people out of this bar, why do we have preseason football? Nobody plays. And the games don't represent literally anything compared to the regular season. Like, there's no other preseason that's like that. You watch some preseason baseball, they're putting out their pitchers to see what's going on. They're all backups, literally. It's a complete wash. But I'm glad you cashed on that one. We're kind of beating around the bush here on this early card. But anyway, Mike.
As my friend says, appreciation is appreciated. It's really the most sincere way when nobody's looking. Do you take the time to do the right things? And that really does make a real one. The ones that we love to be involved with here. And you know what? We can't see if you hit the thumbs up or not, but whether you're watching us live or on the replay, it does mean an absolute ton to us here as we look to break down the 15-game card. Shark, take them away, my friend.
Absolutely. If you guys haven't dropped a like yet, here's your chance. Please help us out and help yourself out. It feels good to do good things, doesn't it? It feels good to give gifts on Christmas. Give us a gift. Enjoy your day. And let's get into the evening card. Big dog stuff here. We're not waiting around, and we are going really one of the biggest games of the card, 6:40 p.m. Tigers hosting the Dodgers. Mike, we kind of prefaced this at the end of the show yesterday. Dodgers going to Detroit with Tarik, Skubal on the bump. Doesn't get any bigger than this. This was not pre-scheduled, of course. This schedule came out back in February. We didn't know Skubal would be playing for the Dodgers in his old stadium, and this is really a massive, massive game. Dodgers got swept last night. Chris Sale, 9 innings pitched, complete game shutout. Mike, can the Dodgers bounce back tonight?
It's funny. So we talk about it all the time, and we'll tell you where we won and where we lost. I told you I lost that Dodger spot there, but I text Shark. I said, it's hard to be mad. You're not going to win games if you don't score runs, right? We know that's you got to get at least one across the finish line. And the starting pitcher goes 9 innings deep, and you can't it's 1-0 game. That's baseball, man. There's nothing you can do. That's a bad break. I don't even want to say it's a bad break. It's just things that you can't necessarily account for. Would have expected a closer to come in at least, but they didn't need it. And that makes the Dodgers, I think, a dangerous team here. I love these teams to bounce back off of the shutout here, but I don't know if I can get there with these guys today. I mean, on the surface, it should be, a Dodgers go out there and smack them, especially with the homecoming here. But I think it's an emotional go. Can't argue the fact that Skubal just left this place and, he's been kind of struggling to pick up W's for this Dodgers team as well. But I've really stuck. I got to go to the first 5 under in this game. I think both teams can start out slow. I don't like Drew Anderson either, for that matter, when it comes to kind of the pitching matchup here. The guy's got a 4.09 ERA and a 1.29 whip. Probably the guy to focus in on is Freddie Freeman for this one. The Ohtani numbers suck. You can't really bet the home run spots out there. I want to get involved with Muncy, but he's been pretty cold too here. But I like Freddie Freeman, smack number 2 in the lineup. So he's getting plenty of goes at it. Let's go with an RBI for our guy, Freddie Freeman. Let's take a lower scoring game as well.
Yeah, I think this is where the Dodgers wake up tonight, if I'm being honest. I think last night, the entire previous series was kind of just Atlanta asserting dominance in really what mattered to Atlanta for their own playoff environment in their mind going forward into October. This is not that, and this is the bounce back. When the Dodgers get swept, it wakes them up. Obviously, 2-time back-to-back world champions. Sometimes they have a hard time motivating here in the three-peat season. As Mike said, you got to give a shout to Chris Sale last night. 9 innings pitched, double-digit Ks, and also the manager for not pulling the guy. I mean, you see so many great games getting totally disrupted by analytics, unfortunately. Guys throwing no-hitters, getting pulled with like 80 pitches. Walt Weiss, thank you for letting us see some good baseball last night. That all being said, I think Tarik Skubal will have his playoff face on tonight in Detroit. I mean, this guy is going to go back in there. He's going to be honored. First of all, they're going to play a video. It's going to trigger some emotion with this guy. And I think he's going to use that and shove on the Tigers. And I think he's going to do it for numerous reasons, but most statistically oriented, because he seemed to actually find his flow with the Dodgers last Saturday against Pittsburgh at home. He had kind of floundered around a little bit in his first 3 starts coming across here to the champs. But after giving up 3 earned runs in the first inning against the Pirates last weekend, 0 earned runs in the next 6 innings, and his first double-digit K start with the Dodgers, 11 Ks. So I think he has found it. I think there was maybe slight uncomfortability going to the West Coast, changing leagues, changing expectations, team, locker room, a lot of personalities, international superstars in that clubhouse with the Dodgers. And I think Skubal took about a month to fit in, figure it out. I think he has figured it out, and he will be comfortable in this stadium, clearly having pitched here since 2020, his rookie campaign with the Tigers. And final point on this, Drew Anderson, fledgling pitcher here from Northern Nevada. Reno, shout out to you guys in Reno. Nice little casino scene up there in the mountains. But 32 years old, converted reliever, couple starts, 3 losses, 2 wins. All 3 losses by margin, and he will be inflated. I'm going to give you guys the Dodgers on the run line in this game. I think the Dodgers wake up and kick some ass tonight. Dodgers, if you guys don't take care of business tonight, we'll all lose 1 unit, and you know what? We'll probably go 9-0 in the other place. That's the beauty of baseball. It's not that big of a deal. But Dodgers, turn them up and kick some ass tonight. Mike, any final comments or keeping it moving?
It's a conflicting situation because you got teams that lose 1-0 that show baseball that they come back and fire the next day, but you also got a situation with the Tigers. Tigers like lefties. I don't think this is going to be such an easy runaway here. The natural tendency, here's what I think is going to happen. Public's going to go out there and smack the Dodgers run line and say, well, they go out there and they beat them up. And I just think that struggle for Detroit against lefties is real. So we'll see how it plays out. But that first 5 under 3.5 makes a lot of sense here. Freddie Freeman hits, runs, RBIs over 1.5 is -120. Freddie Freeman RBI +190. Professor Finesser says, can you let us know what the cash and bets are on this game? I sure can, my friend. You have come to the right place. Right now, you've got 88% of the bets and 90% of the cash on the LA Dodgers. It's come down from minus 222 to minus 181. Oh, baby. Is this the public trap of the day? I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes to best bet, Shark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the market, and truthfully, you and I have talked about this off the record quite a bit. If we were in a casino with a bunch of guys and we were doing like interviews and stuff, shout out to Bet Bash for hosting about 7,000 grown men who all looked like they were miserable in Vegas last month. But if Mike and I did it, it would be a hell of a good time. But I would say this: they wouldn't be able to tell you why they're fading. Really, like it's just a number. And I'll tell you this: Skubal wants this one. The Dodgers are off a sweep. Dodgers get to some margin. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 6:45 in Washington, D.C. tonight. Second of 7 divisional games. Great information here. Marlins Nats, final series of the year. Actually, a 4-game set going into Monday. Eury Pérez on the road bump at Jackson Kent, rookie pitcher here from, I believe, Arizona. The University of Arizona, that is. Mike, interesting spot here. What's going on?
I really don't like either of these two teams. At this point, what are they either playing for? I would take the plus money spot here. Pérez is definitely market capped, and I just can't see myself getting behind laying a minus 144. I don't think so. 77% of the bets, 83% of the cash are on the Marlins right now. Why? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? And they're minus 144 on top of it. I mean, why? Because it's the name Jackson Kent. Look, even if you're going to back Eury Pérez, I like his 137 strikeouts, but he's got a 3.17 whip. He's 7-9. The team's not collecting wins behind the guy. And, if anything, I could argue that with the addition of Brady House in that lineup, especially smack dab in like that cleanup role in the 5 spot, you got CJ Abrams back. You put Jacob Young down at the bottom. This team with Keeper Ruiz probably can go out there and get this win for us here. So, I backed the Nats yesterday in the first 5, and I was fortunate. Well, I mean, they went out there and won the damn game outright here, but I'll take them again. I'll go first 5 and full game with these guys here. I think plus 132, keep the bullpen out of it, and then maybe a half a unit on the full game as well here. I'm going to go with the Nats, man. Let's see them make a little noise with this Jackson Kent fella.
I can't do it, Mike. The buy hat is engaged.
Oh, you cheesy.
And truthfully, this is where the Marlins are going to dominate this game. Stop Geo in the chat says, let me take this edible and lock in. Well, that edible must have been a pretty good edible because he's dropping great data here. Marlins 8-0 head-to-head versus the Nats in recent games. That is absolutely a fact. This is a dominant environment for the Marlins. 8-1 this season. And not only that, you get great matchup data. You got to remember, I was talking about this previously this week. These teams just played a series in Miami last weekend. And Miami swept the Nats, and they didn't look particularly impressive doing it. But that's the whole point. The Nats stink. The Nats win games with Cade Cavalli or when Gabriel Hughes is on the road bump. This is not Gabriel Hughes. This is Eury Pérez. Pérez just beat them last weekend 4-2. I had the run line in that game on Saturday afternoon. It did cash. And Kent on the road took a 6-2 loss to Jackson Jobe on Sunday. Terrible numbers in the game. 90 pitches labored through 4 2/3. Inflated whip. And final point on this, when you really look what's going on here with Kent, only 1 home start this year. We actually detailed it on Wednesday. It was August 12th against the Cubs. 5 walks in 4 innings at home, 12-6 Cubs. Same exact line range. David Peterson was laying $163. It got steamed down 15 points in the market, and the Cubs took care of business anyway and slaughtered this guy. He's young. He will flirt with disaster. This is where the Marlins will wake up with the bats, and ultimately I do think Pérez is a significantly better pitcher in this matchup. The buy hat is engaged, Mike. Big dog stuff, sexy dog stuff for you in this game. Any final comments?
One of the number 1 rules that I have in baseball, besides staying away from doubleheaders and rain delays, is if the pitcher went well the previous time, he saw nobody in between. It is a true zigzag. And Pérez, he went 5 innings. He only gave up 1 earned run and had 4 strikeouts. His last opponent, the Washington Nationals. It's belt to bottom time here. Big plus money score today. Shout out to all you guys in the chat, man. Look at these boys here. Stop Geo says, y'all probably pass. Papa Ricky says, let's go Nats. And Jay Peasy says, there's no reason to bet this game. There we go. Let's go, you guys. JPZ says backwoods. Come backwoods this game here. I think there's plus money to be had, boys. A little head-to-head. It's early in the card for us, Shark. It's only right.
Yeah, backwoods. When you live in LA, I guess Washington, D.C. is the backwoods. I love that. But anyway, let's keep it moving. More to discuss. Next game on the card, 7:10 in New York City tonight. Queens, to be precise. Citi Field. Astros Mets, game one of this series. A couple interleague series tonight. 1 of 1. Of course, these teams play once a year. Hunter Brown on the road bump against Christian Scott. Big market movement coming towards the Mets, Mike. What's going on here?
Yeah, and it's interesting I would say the line is coming down on the Mets. I wouldn't say the market, because the market's buying in on the Astros right now. 68% of the bets. That's generally, when we look at these splits, you guys, the percentage of bets is all the tickets being written. And that's generally speaking public betting, right? You've got the $5 better, the parlay better, the player prop better, the ticket as long as their arm better, all of that stuff. And then the percentage of cash is typically more associated with the sharper betting or the bigger bets, right? Doesn't necessarily mean they're sharper, but they're larger and they're enough to concern the bookies out there. There is a little bit of a bump on that bigger, better side of things coming in on the Mets here. And the books have shown they're concerned. It's gone from plus 108 to plus 100 in that situation. So I think that correlates with where you're seeing the market activity right now. I just wonder if you can get down on the Astros. They just had that big series against the Yankees. They did get that win yesterday. That was the spot that we looked at here. And the road favorites this season have been busting up the New York Mets here. With Hunter Brown on the bump, I like the look. I think it's probably a first 5, and then the Mets maybe find a way to come back at the end here. But series openers, end of the season this year, they were so bad so early, Shark. When I talk about the shifting pendulum, right? They're so bad. And we talk about the cluster effect. You talk about the cluster effect all the time. This point of the season, the last 11 series openers, they're 8-3. So that's the cluster effect. That's the pendulum swinging back the other way. Now, the question is, are you going to get on the Mets or not?
Tough game for me. One of the things I picked up on when I was looking at this before is, outside of the fact that the Astros look good in New York City, you're just going cross town. So is this a letdown? Yankees clearly the bigger environment. I think it's a letdown, but here's the caveat. I think it's actually not a letdown for Hunter Brown. Of course, he was not involved in that series. This is his 1 of 1 out of every 5 games, and he's on a 4-game losing streak. He is 0-4 in August. And again, we try to zoom into the psychology of these guys. If you caught Hunter Brown right now in the street of New York, maybe catching a cup of coffee or something, and you actually got a candid remark from this guy, and you said, listen, dude, you're 0-4 this month. How do you feel about it? He'd say, I'm fucking pissed off. Like, I'm not going to lose 0-5 in August. And that's just real talk. So I think Hunter Brown is going to shove in this matchup tonight. Christian Scott, not coincidentally for this handicap, I think I'm actually kind of leaning towards Houston in this game. He's 4-0 this month. So the absolute converse conversation here, if you talk to Christian Scott, you'd say, how do you feel about being 4-0 this month, sir? He'd say, I'm feeling great. That's when you want to sell guys, when they're feeling a little too good on themselves. I think Scott's a little too hot. He has been inflated this month as well. 14 earned runs in 20 innings pitched. I'm probably going to get to the Astros guys in this game. But just an interesting point on that. I think Hunter Brown 0-4 is really a nice buy point here, Micah. Any thoughts on the total or keeping it moving?
I like the under. I liked the under yesterday in that Milwaukee Mets game, and didn't really get there for us, did it? But I just think this is another one of them lower scoring series. If you want some numbers that kind of go, and I agree with you. I think it's a Hunter Brown ready to roll situation here, but road unders after the All-Star break. In other words, the second half of the season when the total's 7.5 or less. So when the books expect it, right? We talk about these key numbers, 7, 9s, and 11s in baseball. When we're 9's kind of that's the middle point. That's why you see a lot of 8.5s, right? They're not sure if it's going to go over or not, but they tend to lean to the under. At 7.5, they're certainly expecting it to be a lower game. And Astros wise, those 7.5s or less are winning at a 67% rate over 19 years, by the way. So it's a consistent pattern the Houston Astros have shown. And to me, what makes sense about that is that's a team that pushes for the playoffs. So I get it. They're always in the hunt. The Mets unders in recent form have 8 straight home unders as well here. So I think you get away with this under 7.5.
Yeah, I agree. And just final point on this. Last time Christian Scott was a home dog, he did lose 1-0 versus Atlanta. So it correlates to everything we're saying. He can pitch well, they can lose, and the game can go under. I think this is probably a Houston spot and an under, and both pitchers will pitch well. Great conversation there, guys. We will obviously be posting the final card this afternoon. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, a bunch of games in the 7 o'clock hour in the weekend window here. Friday night, of course, 7:10 in Cleveland, Progressive Field. Game one of this series in the division, AL Central, Royals, Guardians, Michael Wacha at Tanner Bybee. Mike, I was looking at this before, and I thought, pretty interesting stuff. These pitchers have faced off twice already this year, heads up. And Wacha has won both of them. Bybee's been a struggle bus all year, but at some point, this guy has to wake up. What do you think about this game?
Man, I'll tell you, the Royals, they like beating up on Cleveland, especially in Cleveland. That's one of them things. Tanner Bybee in Cleveland has been struggling at home on top of that here. Royals just had that huge win yesterday. I mean, they've been looking pretty good the last couple series. The question is, can we see Cleveland wake the F up at home? And the road Royals against right-handed pitching is where I think that you have to hone in on this game here. Consistency, 5 years straight. They struggle. They're at a 70% clip. It's not just that they're struggling, but like to me, now listen, yesterday, Caglione, Pasquantino, some really great stuff by these guys, but where the fuck is Bobby Witt? And home runs and RBIs here, the guys just kind of put him on a milk carton. And to me, that is where the problem comes into play here, because you've got this whole, everybody knows Tanner Bybee. It's funny, we talked the other day about the fade, and we said, you know, the Seattle Mariners have finally found a way to start winning on the road, and Brian Wu's so dominant at home, but, you know, maybe this is the zigzag. I think this might be the zigzag here. I think you take this Cleveland spot here. Bybee, as bad as he is, you fade them boys in Cleveland against the righties. I think that's where it makes a lot of sense. And they're a favorite. They're trying to push for the postseason. Road weary international travel Kansas City spot where they blew up yesterday. I don't think they can back it up. They're going to have to show me they can back it up, and I'll take a shot with Bybee in this lower price.
Yeah, tough game for me, honestly. I agree with everything you said. You know, the Royals exploded yesterday. We had our top play on the Royals. Too bad we didn't lay 10 runs. I mean, they absolutely smacked Toronto across north of the border. But, it's tough to sustain that night two. But it's also kind of a tough spot for the Guardians, in my opinion. Coming off a sweep road trip here, Dub 7. And we detailed this in terms of the road trip. Not a high-class road trip. Cleaning up the Rockies and the Angels. So you come home, you're too hot. Wacha just pitches great against the Guardians. It seems like it doesn't matter what stadium. Ultimately, the books do like Cleveland. It's a book line on Cleveland when you get the double revenge game. So book line on Cleveland if you guys want to tail the book algo. But Kansas City could scrap this one. Tough spot for the Guardians. Tough spot for me there. Cleveland would be the line number, but we will keep it moving. Better games to come, and it is coming right now. 7:10 in St. Petersburg tonight, Tropicana Field. Padres-Rays series opener on a Friday night. Going to be a big one out there in the Tampa region. McClanahan on the home bump against Casey Mize, Mike. Rays coming home, Padres coming cross country. Big dog stuff here. What's going on?
Yeah, Tampa Bay runs themselves 14-2 in this price range. When they're between that minus 120 and minus 140 spot, they're pretty hot. Hard to argue with what they can do out there. And they're back at home. But, we talked about it. Market cap. Is this team at home? Can they run the sustainable program that they've done here? And I'm a fan. I told you guys, I'm not a Padres lover here, but it does feel like recently I am. And so if it's below 135, Shark just talked a little bit about like the market line, if you will. If it's below 135, that's a fishy line for the hottest team at home in baseball. I'm going to take the Padres at this plus money. Plus Mize has got plenty of experience against these guys. So I'm not too concerned. And I think you do have a little bit of that market cap from Shane McClanahan here. You're starting to see a little bit of fall off. He does have the lefty advantage, but I'm cool with that. I mean, look, the guys have seen him, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado is probably going to bust him up because this is one of them spots where I think this is where I think the opportunity comes to just exploit McClanahan. The dude's gone out there and shut down some of the best bats in baseball. And now we're seeing it start to drop off a little for McClanahan. His spin rates, I don't spend a lot of time talking about velocity and shit like that, but those numbers are starting to kind of pop a little bit there and show some concern. So as the season goes on, there's wear in the arm on McClanahan, and you're heating these bats up in Jackson Merrill, Ty France, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis. Xander Bogaerts is in the mix as well. I think this is a really great spot to take San Diego, a playoff pushing team. Right now, wild card outside looking in, and you're getting them at plus 120. Yeah, that's where I want to be today.
Mike, I need to take a trip over to Tampa tonight and just get some beers and hang out, and I'll give you the business because the Tampa Bay Rays are about to hammer them in this game. This is a terrible spot for the Padres. They just cleaned up the Pirates out west. They got to travel cross country night one. This is your classic brutal west to east travel. They're 2-8 this year, series openers road, coming off of a previous home game. And precisely in this environment, 0-2 as a dog at the AL East. Both margin losses at Boston on a Friday night, same range, sunny gray, -130, and at Baltimore. And you talk about the Rays. I don't love the Rays either. We've tried to sell them, and we have sold them successfully for weeks. This is McClanahan at his finest here. This guy is 10-1 at home. He's 2-0 at home against the National League. And you talk about pattern recognition. This is the first great pattern of the card for me. He's coming off of back-to-back starts against Baltimore, home win against the Orioles, and then a road loss in extra innings in the last game. That's the second time this year he's actually pitched back-to-back games against the Orioles. And the previous one was the identical environment. He won a home game and then went to Baltimore and lost in extra innings. What did he do after that extra inning loss at Baltimore? Home favorite outside of the division, right in this range, -150, and hammered down on the Angels. And ultimately, what you're looking at with Casey Mize here, traded from the Tigers, has not pitched in Tropicana Field in 4 years, did get hit in this stadium in 2022. Tough spot, in my opinion, for the Padres. The buy hat is engaged.
You gotta take all of that and throw it out the window. That was 4 years ago. He's a different guy now. That was 4 years ago. And your biggest component about the travel, the West Coast to East Coast travel, doesn't matter. We've seen that in football. It's the most infallible spot in baseball or in sports in general. This misconception that there's an impact or a benefit. If anything, the benefit is on the West Coast team because it's earlier in their body clock for them. And reality is, both teams came off of travel. And they're both sitting there with the same identical rest period here. So this line says funky short to me, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see if the buy hat flounders or does what's the thing called? What's the tail? What's the thing that killed the Crocodile Dundee? The stingray? Yeah. What's the stinger called? There's a name for the stinger. We'll see if that thing impales somebody or not. Let's go.
I don't know. I need to do some research.
Remember what was the dude that had the show? Remember the Animal Planet show and the guy fucking around with stingray and it shot through his chest?
Was it that guy from Australia? I forget his name.
Was his name Steve or something like that?
Steve Irwin?
Steve Irwin. Isn't that the guy?
Could have been, yeah. Look at the
knowledge. By the stingray. I hope I don't get impaled by the stingray today.
Look at the knowledge we teach you guys on Bases Loaded, and we just find it in the back of our mind somewhere. Mike and I have been tabulating information for 40-plus years, guys. If you don't enjoy it, I don't know what to tell you, but you guys do enjoy it, so please drop a like on the video. It helps to spread the content. And let's keep it moving down the baseball card here, Mike. You can tell it's Friday. We're talking Trop, we're talking beers, Devil Rays. Honestly, it's beautiful outside in Florida, right? It's gorgeous. Oh, my God, what a day. Let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, we're going back to Yankee Stadium tonight. Series shift, Astros out, enter Red Sox. Big dog stuff here Friday night in the Bronx. I know it's going to be going down. I used to hang out in the Bronx. I love the Yankees. Stan Sports Bar was my joint. I love Billy's as well. People are going to be rocking in the Bronx tonight. And you get Cam Schlittler on the bump against Sandoval, Mike. Schlittler, revenge game. Will he shove?
I mean, he should, right? That's what it ultimately comes down to here. I found this game to be pretty difficult because, I think that the Yankees bats have woken up, and that's the problem that I think you're going to find with the Red Sox here. But it's a rivalry. Anything can happen. And the sharper bets, the bigger bettors are back in the Red Sox here. I don't think it's just I think it's a couple of things. I think Sandoval, has found himself a little bit of resurgence. In fact, in his last 2 years, we talk a little bit about Casey Mize and what happened 4 years ago. Well, in this dude's last 2 years, the guy's 10-2 as a pitcher late in the season here. So you got to like that. You got to respect what's going on out there. Can he manage Schlittler and the bright lights? It's a big deal for this guy, but in the dog role, he's certainly found himself to struggle. But here's the thing. Sandoval is a dog. If you fade the dude, you're 58-32. But I just told you how great he's been in recent form. You're 1-9 in the last 10 if you fade this guy. So yes, Schlittler to open a series is 5-0 in the last 5 games. I think this one's got the makings for a pitching battle here. I like the first 5 under in this game here. Does make me a little nervous, but I see 4.5s are juicy. I see a 4 at -115. I think that's a sneaky little way to play this game. And, I would look for the no-run first inning in this game. There's a couple spots that I like for the Nerfy today. This one's sitting there at -130. I think that's a fair price.
Yeah, honestly, this is a tough game for me. The Yankees are tough to handicap for a couple reasons. One, they're always overpriced.
Right.
Two, the lineup is just so constantly moving. Without Aaron Judge, Bellinger's back, Giancarlo's out for the year, it looks like. Every day it's a new story with this team. So the number is kind of irrelevant, actually, because we never have any consistency with the number versus the lineup. I think Schlittler's going to shove. As I mentioned, he did take a loss at Fenway Park going back about a month. 4th start of the year for Schlittler against the Red Sox, actually. So abundant data, to say the least. I think the revenge angle is very important for this guy. The guy's an absolute gamer. Not only that, he grew up in central Massachusetts, fairly well noted in this rivalry. When he started pitching for the Yankees, he was getting a lot of shit from people in Massachusetts, like in his DMs on Instagram. So I think he's actually developed a bit of a hard exterior versus Red Sox fans, nation, and the team. I think he actually dislikes the Red Sox significantly. Because guess what, guys? He was drafted by the Yankees. He didn't desert you guys. This is just where he ended up. But you guys gave him a lot of trash, so I think he's pissed off here. And if you do look at Patrick Sandoval, only one road start in the division. Pitching for the Red Sox, of course, his first season here, came back from the Angels. Did not cover the run line, 5-3, August 11th at Toronto. Did labor in the game. Only gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. 8 hits, 3 walks. So, guys, 11 base runners, only 2 crossed. It's kind of getting away with it a little bit. I think he could get hit here. Don't love the game. Just giving you guys some commentary. If I had to free play this one, I do think that the Schlittler environment is strong enough to take the Yankees. And I think the zigzag is real. Lost last night. Like we had the Astros. You had them officially. I think they lost last night. They'll come back here. Look to the Yankees in this game, guys. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card. Also in the 7:15 window, Truist Park tonight, Rockies, Braves. Tomoyuki Sugano, Grant Holmes, second series of the year. Holmes actually did catch a road win at Colorado previously. Atlanta off a sweep against the Dodgers. Mike, if there was ever a trap on the card, it has to be here. What do you think?
I think that they're priced for a reason. I mean, look, Sugano as the dog was winning early in the season, but he's caught 2 straight L's now. So the Rockies on the road, they've caught 2 straight dubs here, but that was the Nationals, man. This is a change in class. You just talked about what the Braves did to the Dodgers. The only opportunity I could see is that Colorado starts this game off early. Collective exhale for the LA Dodgers, but I'm not buying that here. I would lay the run line with the Atlanta Braves. I think they kicked the shit out of the Colorado Rockies tonight.
Well, considering I threw the White Sox in the trash, and now I am officially crowning myself the Rockies whisperer. The Rockies are in play here tonight, guys. This is a terrible spot for Atlanta. I'm sorry. This is just group psychology.
And they haven't traveled, and they're playing one of the worst teams in baseball. How can you say it's a bad spot for them?
Just terrible group psychology. I just don't see the Atlanta Braves right now as we speak, 12:41 Eastern, so fired up to face the Rockies tonight. I think the high was last night. They swept the champs at home, and Chris Sale threw a complete game shutout. Obviously, this is not Sale dependent, but I think the entire team will take an exhale tonight. And when they take an exhale against the Rockies, I think it could get a little tight. And as we've noted numerous times, you want to buy Sugano, and you want to buy him on the road. He's actually 6-1 versus +1.5 road games outside of the division. It's very high level living. And we've talked about this before. The reason why this guy's even in baseball is because he travels well. Just a friendly reminder, guys, professional scouts are scouting 16-year-old flamethrowers throwing 100 miles an hour, not 33-year-old pitchers in Japan that cap out at 92. The point is, this guy's got a great mental game, and he's well seasoned, and that will translate to an effective start here. And final point on this. As I mentioned, Holmes earlier this year did catch a win at Colorado. He was down 5-0 in that game. And the Braves had to make a gigantic comeback in the 9th inning to win 8-6. If he gets down again, I don't see a massive walk-off multi-run home run to cover the run line, which this would have to be in the bottom of the ninth to cover -1.5. And last year, Holmes actually did lose at home to Colorado 10-1 as a -300 favorite. So I think this is a scrappy spot for the Rockies. Mike, any final comments or keep it moving?
If you like the Rockies in this game, I mean, I like the price. I don't argue with that, right? But man, you got to take their team total. I don't even know if you could the sidewise. The fact that you've got one of the best bullpens in baseball, you got an under ballpark, you got a team that's been market capped with Sagano, who doesn't travel well on the road, just played a series. This is a huge step up in class. I don't know, man. I mean, a rested bullpen's going to be able to go. If anything, I would go Colorado first 5 and say, okay, don't implode on me early, Sagano. But I can't get there. I'd lay the run line on the home team, even money in this spot. We'll see. We'll see if it's the trap spot of the day.
We will see. Rockies +1.5 for me. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, we're going to Toronto tonight. Mariners, Blue Jays, 7:07, or it's not 7:07, 7:15. You know why? It's on Apple TV, and 90% of the market can't see this game unless you subscribe. That all being said, this is MLB Bases Loaded. We're going to give you a breakdown and a winner. Roger Center tonight, Mariners, Blue Jays, ALCS rematch, second series of the year. Big pitching matchup, Hancock against Cease. Mike, we kind of alluded to this when we talked a little Royals. The Blue Jays did get blown out yesterday. Will they bounce back tonight?
This is my teaser spot. I texted you yesterday about this one. I said, I got a great spot on the card, and it's because of the later start time. Normally, Toronto gets the 7:07 spot here. I'm going to take Seattle, man. I'm going to take a little squirrely spot there here with this. I don't think it's 7:15, right? You said 7:09. It's that 2-minute differential that 15. Caught my attention yesterday, and I said, you know what? I like this little situation here. This throws them off just a little bit. They're normally now they get that 8-minute delay. I do think the under is another good look in this game, though. This is playoff baseball between these two teams, and they're both pushing right now for playoff spots. So, Seattle comes into this thing, and they're going to face off on Dylan Cease, right? And look, dude, 25 innings pitched, only 6 earned runs, and 11 total hits with 35 strikeouts. So he's been on fire. Literally pitching with his hair on fire in this case here. The Mariners, huge, their strikeout rate's 3rd overall in baseball the last 2 weeks. They are literally boom or bust, but they're starting to find action from guys like Herbie Hancock. So you got to respect what's going on there. On the other side of things here with Emerson Hancock, he's been doing all right here. He hasn't given up more than 3 earned in 9 straight games. So I think the value's on the Mariners. I think the value's on the under. And look, the other thing for me, and maybe he goes out there and shoves, but I've said it before, when the pitcher gets a K-prop of 7.5 with juice, that usually is a bad sign. So I'm going to take the Mariners. I'm going to take the under. And +140 Mariners is a really great spot, especially with 74% of the bets and 72% of the cash. The lines come down on the Jays from 156 to 142. I like the change in start time in the 6. What do you think about that?
I don't like it, if I'm being honest. I think the Blue Jays are going to smoke them in this game. The buy hat is engaged. And I'm actually a little surprised that you didn't like the buy low off the blowout yesterday, because we nailed that game with emphasis. We could have gotten, as I said, -9.5 and a cover in that game. And it was all over Noah Cameron and Spencer Arrighetti fade. So now you get the bounce back, and you get Dylan Cease at home. Dylan Cease is one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball. This guy is completely locked in. He pitched at Seattle on July 5th, 4-0 win, 2 hits, 2 walks, 0 earned runs, only 92 pitches. He will be at the peak of his powers. Not only that, when you look at, he won 2-0 at Seattle. When you look at Hancock on the road has been inconsistent, effective as a favorite being the key point. I've actually been involved with Hancock in these road spots out of the division at St. Louis, at the White Sox, and at Baltimore. He was not a significant dog in the matchup. And this is the same conversation I just had with the Padres. This is Mariners traveling west to east. And the Mariners are 0-2 this year in series openers, road at east, if off a prior home game. And just zooming back to what we said to open the segment here, this is a rematch of the ALCS last year. if the Blue Jays are ever going to awaken, I think it comes here. I think this team will rejuvenate the memory of good times last October. And I think that they will tee up. I think Toronto has a better team, if I'm being honest, just in terms of the group's psychology. I think Seattle is flat. I think the manager is potentially out the door. And I do think Cease is the spot at home. Mike, I don't disagree on a little time change there, but I do like the Blue Jays. Any final comments?
Yeah, the issue when you say that you're the buy low, I don't see this as a buy low at all. You're buying at an all-time high with Toronto right now, and you got almost a minus 160 price tag on it. So what are people going to do? They're going to lay the run line because just in case it loses, it keeps my juice down. That's never a position of strength. And then you have Dylan Cease. When I talk about being capped, the dude's gone 6 or more innings in 8 of his last 9, and the books are showing that 7.5. That's where that recipe to buy low comes in on the other side of things here. He's gone 6 or more innings in just 13 of 24 starts. So think about the numbers, right? That we talk about the law of large averages right now. Dylan Cease, 8 of his last 9 have been stud performances. But when you zoom out, he's just average. He's due to become just average again today. I think the Seattle Mariners. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I do think the total with the lower scores in play. I just think when you get that 3-2 type of game, you don't want to be buying a team that's overtaxed right now in this Toronto side of things here. Long term, minus 145s on a team, 155s. I ain't going to get it done. You got to go with the Mariners plus 130. Plus 140. Excuse me. First 5 plus 140, full game plus 140.
All right, we will see, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, interleague baseball tonight. First series of the year, only series of the year, 7:40 in Milwaukee. Rangers, Brewers. Bradford at Henderson, Mike. This is your classic Milwaukee line, just kind of a hammer. Henderson has not lost a home game all year. Will he lose tonight?
I'll defer to you, man. I mean, I think I want to buy the Rockies because I know, or listen to me with the Rockies. I want to buy the Rangers because of the playoff push, but I can't trust that team. What are you going to do here? You're going to lay the run line?
If I had to, I'm not there yet. I don't really love margin here, but I don't love fading Henderson at home. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6-0 at home. And I tried to fade him last weekend against Atlanta, and he just beat him anyway, 4-1. And this guy's kind of a no-name pitcher. I mean, he came out of nowhere. He's 24 years old. He was low draft pick, didn't go to a major college. He's just scrappy. He's intelligent, and the Brewers are just that themselves. They're scrappy and intelligent. And when you find a team like the Brewers, they're not taking their foot off the gas. In their mind, this is their season. Just something we haven't talked about on the show, but I'll mention it now. The entire league knows the Dodgers are going to have a tough time three-peating. It's the hardest thing to do in professional sports, 3 consecutive championships. So the rest of the league knows the door is open this year for a World Series. And that is a high focus point. I don't like the Rangers in any capacity. I said it before. They won the World Series 3 years ago. They kind of capped out. They're very mediocre. They're 9 games under 500 on the road. That is why the line is heavy. If you guys want to go anywhere near this game, I would say go Brewers in some capacity. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card.
Pretty quiet about this one here. Stop Geo says maybe the nerfy, but I think he's talking about that Toronto game out there. Says feels like a low scoring game here. See solid numbers versus Toronto and Hancock. Less than 3 earned in his last 3. I like that under quite a bit there. So let's see. CHD shared a couple spots with us here in that Atlanta game. You like Baldwin, Harris, and Olsen. I'm assuming for some hits in that spot there. I don't mind those boys. Matt Olson's been on the damn dashboard for me for home runs for like the last week straight. And then Baldwin got one yesterday. So you got to respect what Atlanta does. A 1-0 game, and he's the guy that cracks the bat. But we'll see how the bats get cracked in this one. I think Cody Bradford gets cracked open like a fucking walnut.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that some of these handicaps are allowed to be square. It doesn't have to be, as to use our word from yesterday, esoteric. It doesn't have to be difficult. Something I coach myself on all the time, actually, privately. I say to myself, dude, if it's not complicated, you don't have to make it complicated. So sometimes it can be that easy. I think the Brewers are just far superior in this matchup. I would be surprised if Texas won any game in this series, if I'm being honest. Brewers, certainly the look in this game. And let's keep it moving. 8 o'clock window tonight. 2 games in the 8 o'clock hour. First one, Target Field in Minneapolis. White Sox Twins opening up a weekend series in the division. Great stuff here. Really interesting matchup. Dean Kramer and Castillo on the road. But Mike, what's going on here?
What an ugly game. I saw this on, I said to myself when I was putting this game together, or when I was putting the graphics together, I said, what a fucking worthless spot. I mean, literally just forfeit this series. Who gives a fuck? I would say you take the plus money at this point with, The White Sox, the Twins at home against teams that are, 500 or better are a struggling proposition in recent form here. I don't want to bet the Twins at home. You've heard me say it time and again here. But the White Sox in series openers are bad too. So what's the old faithful? What's old reliable? I mean, Kremer versus the division, by the way, 19-6 in those spots. But recency with the travel or with trading there as well here. The spot that I look at, it's the old reliable. It comes to these AL Central teams playing each other here. I like the unders. But then guess what? The damn White Sox go to the over when they've got a rest day built in between there. In fact, it's happened 17 straight times. You give the White Sox at least a day's rest, and their bats come to life the next day. So I think collectively, you look to the over, you look to the White Sox team total over, and you look to the White Sox to win. And I hate it. I hate everything about it. But it's also a 9, which tells you the books think this thing can go over too. Luis Castillo on the road as a dog, he's 13-1 to the over, Shark. I think you got to put some runs on the board in this game.
I agree. I think the Twins are going to tee off on this guy and win this game by 5 runs. This is a really high-level handicap for me, guys. When you look at this game, you have to zone in on one thing at the starting point. This is my stinky line special of the day. Why are the 64-70 Twins laying juice at open to the 70-63 White Sox, and it's catching steam in the market towards the Twins? I'll tell you what, the White Sox are market capped. They peaked 2 months ago. They're fledgling, and you get Castillo on the road. This is his 3rd road start with the White Sox. He was acquired before August 6th, obviously pitched with the Mariners before. On the road, he's looked terrible with the White Sox. He lost 12-11 at Boston, 5 earned runs in 4 innings, and at the Cubs, 99 pitches in 4 2/3, another 4 runs against, 8 hits in the game. It gets even better. Pre-trade, while pitching for Seattle, Castillo pitched at Target Field on Monday, April 27th, and he got absolutely shellacked by this Twins lineup, losing 11-4. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 walks, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs against. And you look at Kremer, it's really great stuff. Both pitchers traded in the same 48-hour window. In this same window, Kremer has become a great home pitcher for the Twins if facing an opponent from the American League. Only spot against Baltimore, 1 earned run in 7 innings. And final point on this, pitching for Baltimore, Kremer did face off against the White Sox on Wednesday, July 1st. And it was not Castillo getting crushed in this matchup with a previous team. Kremer shoved on the White Sox at home at Oriole Park, 6-1. Only 1 earned run in 6 innings, 1 home run. This is all over the Twins. It's an absolutely fantastic handicap. Multi-unit spot, ladies and gentlemen. Take the Twins and let's cash. Chad is oscillating as we speak. I can see them going like this in their chair. Everything's going on. Twins about to bang them. Mike, any comments or keeping it moving?
I don't think so, but okay. I'm going to go with the over. I like the over.
10-5. 10-5.
All right.
Let's cash both and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 8:15 in St. Louis tonight. Pirates-Cardinals. Division series in the NL Central. Big dog stuff here, in my opinion. Jared Jones on the bump against rookie pitcher Quinn Matthews. Pirates coming across from a couple series in California, Mike. Can they find some environmental uptick here tonight?
Yeah, I believe so. They win with Jared. They like Jared out there. St. Louis, to me, I told you before, I think this team literally is due to regress and in a big way. They were supposed to fall off. My expectations at the trade deadline and the All-Star break is when it started. I said, this team falls off big time. They found a couple of spots to go out there and pick up some wins here, but I'm going to go with the Pirates. This is just Pirates are the favorite in a spot where I don't want to trust. I want to trust Jared Jones, and I don't want to trust this St. Louis. I'm just not there. I'm not there on these boys here. I'm strictly a Pirates at -112 or pass guy.
I agree. I haven't put this hat on in a long time. It feels good. It's Friday. The buy hat is engaged. Great spot here. This is another 2-unit spot for me. Absolutely great spot. What you're looking at here is the Pirates in a buy market. And when you look at this road trip, very interesting road trip, in my opinion. Had a day off yesterday. Prior to that, played 2 series at the Dodgers and at the Padres. So when you really zoom out here, the Dodgers and the Padres are supposed to be a hell of a lot better than the Pirates. And if you looked at that series, those two series, you never really felt like either team was that much better than the Pirates. The Dodgers struggled to beat them. The games were very close and low scoring. And they took 2 out of 3 at San Diego. And when I looked at that game, that window of games, the under was 5-0 last 5, which zooms me into really a precise point here, Mike. This young pitching staff for the Pirates is performing at their peak within this season. Skeens finally got it together. Ashcraft has looked great. Chandler is looking good. Now it's Jones's turn. And this is a great buy low on Jared Jones, Mike. Jones is 0-6 last 6. You talk about a guy getting pissed off. I was holding the mic up to the guys in New York City tonight. Ask him today, Jared, how do you feel about being 0-6 in your last 6 ball games? He would say, Shark, I'm not even going to tell you anything. I'm that pissed off. This guy is in his head in a good way. He's going to be locked and loaded tonight. Not only that, you get this rookie pitcher for the Cardinals on the bump, Quinn Matthews. He's a rookie pitcher from Stanford. He's 6'6" lefty. I was watching him pitch in the previous game at Philadelphia over the weekend, and the announcers were saying this guy's heady, he's inconsistent, he's funky, he's hard to read. When this is his first home start in front of a big crowd in St. Louis on a Friday night, he's going to be overwhelmed. He's going to get hit. And final point on this, divisional baseball here. The road team between these teams this year is 6-1. And I think it continues tonight. Pittsburgh started the matchup 0-5 first 5, 2-0 last 2. And Pittsburgh has a worse record, but is 37 runs better than the Cardinals. And Mike, really absolute final point on this. I was joking to myself before. The Cardinals just finished a series against the Orioles. It kind of felt like all 3 games were just like total gambling. Like the Cardinals were in the casino for the last 3 days. They were on a bender. And they won yesterday in crazy fashion. And then they come back here against a divisional opponent. Mike, if we were in a casino for 3.5 days on a total bender, we get out of the casino. We're not fired up on a Friday to lock back in. I think they're going to be totally distracted. So it's a really high-level handicap for me. Take the Pirates and let's cash. Keeping it moving here. 3 late-night games.
For the record, Jared Jones got himself a nice little 12-winning streak going on in this thing here. So don't be afraid to look at Jared and say, man, this guy, even though it's more of the situational spot there, and it has a lot to do with how the bats perform. So Jared Jones should be able to go out there and strike in this thing here. We'll see if the team can follow and back him up here, because road trip's not so great for this guy. But I like the total. I think this thing sails over the number.
Yeah, big dog spot. Let's cash and let's keep it moving. 3 late night games tonight, 9:38.
Actually, I got to shout. I got to shout out our boy. We got to engage the chat a little more, Shark. God damn it. Let's go, Jay Peasy, with the $5 gifted super chat to kick the weekend off. Let's go, brother. Appreciate you, Jay Peasy. Thank you for blessing our action and being a member of the Sports Money Network community. Love it, man. Appreciate you. Enjoy your Friday, brother. Thank you for blessing our action. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to the chat, guys. If you're in the chat, please give us some comments with us and let's keep it moving. A couple late night games on the slate tonight. Phillies Angels in Anaheim. Classic interleague game here as well. 1 of 1. Only series of the year. Painter at Detmers. Mike, tough game, I thought at first glance. What do you think?
Great spot for the boys in PHL tonight, man. Holy shit. I wrote 2 spots down yesterday. Literally. You want to see my paper? See at the very top here? These were yesterday. It's a fresh sheet. You can tell because I had my NFL games from yesterday, which I swept the board on. Here you go. 2 spots circled. One was Seattle. The other was Philadelphia. I've been talking about this Painter fella, Shark. They wouldn't trade him to Minnesota last year. He struggled to start the season off. They're sticking with the guy. And guess what just happened here? A little team building experience. They went to the Fisherman's Wharf up in Seattle when they were playing in Seattle. The team's there. They're all excited. They're backing this dude doing the fish toss. I don't even know what the fucking fish toss was, but there they were. Everyone's hooting and hollering. They're wearing Eagles jerseys, like Philly banding together, Red October. And now here we go with Andrew Painter, an inconsistent team in the Los Angeles Angels. And you're going to give me the Phillies at minus 122? Yeah. Bad day to be a Reed Detmers fan.
Yeah, no, this is a tough game for me. I would agree. I think Philly would be deciding this game. I haven't gotten anywhere with it, however. Market's team down. Sharps syndicate's not sure on the Angels. Let them do that, as we know every day. Oftentimes on the incorrect side of the game, at least in terms of how we look at the game. So, Mike, I would agree. Phillies get it done in Los Angeles, and let's keep it moving. 2 late night games tonight. 9:40 in Sacramento. Orioles A's opening up a weekend series. Second series of the year. Brandon Young at Jacob Lopez. Lopez actually did catch a road win at Baltimore. Mike, can he do it again?
I don't know. I pass on this game.
Great. I have a hat. It's over here. I'm not going to get out of my chair, but Baltimore's going to win this game, guys. What you're looking at here really is Brandon Young, just at a higher level of class than Lopez. And I do think the circle on the calendar here is noteworthy for the Orioles. They're not going to want to lose to this guy, Jacob Lopez, twice. And he has underperformed significantly at Sutter Health Park this year outside of the division. The only time this guy really has locked in at home against a team from the American League East, it was actually a win against Tampa Bay earlier this month. But guys, little local knowledge. Lopez pitched for the Rays for 3 years early in his career. So that was a revenge game for this guy. If it's not the Rays and he's not in a revenge mode, he gets hit in this spot. And what I was saying about the St. Louis series against Baltimore, Baltimore gambled against St. Louis in the middle of the country for 3 days. It's going to continue tonight. They're going to explode. Their bats have been on fire all week. This park is a bandbox. They're going to light this guy up. You're going to see a lot of runs. Baltimore will win this game. Take Baltimore and let's cash. Last game on the card, Mike. Going back to San Francisco tonight. Only game 2 on the card. Diamondbacks, Giants. Cole Drake at Blake Tidwell. Mike, 2 kind of unknown pitchers. Giants with a win last night. What's going on here?
Yeah, that was an impressive little fight there from them boys. You know, the thing about this one is the Giants at home. I told you guys the under was the play yesterday. I mean, that was easy. That was a no sweat casher for us out there. And it's a lot to do with San Francisco. Now, I think you have a little similar situation. The only problem with this one that I have is Cole Drake likes to pitch himself to an over. He can't keep the ball. He can't help but keep the ball in play. And it's like, man, 3 straight starts, 3 straight overs for this guy. And then you look at the number on the card today and it's like, boy, they're 7.5s that are starting to show 8. So I think it's probably I'd go San Francisco again, plus 110 in this case. Numbers coming down on Arizona. I just don't like anything in terms of consistency from this Arizona side of things here. I would say that the contrarian play, despite it being an over, is to take the over here. Even though San Francisco does play to the unders and we're starting to see a little bit of movement, but it'd be dogging over. Plus you got 14-mile-an-hour winds that are going to gust up out there. So, yeah, I think I'd take a shot with this over and don't be afraid to take the San Francisco Giants at home.
Yeah, I have absolutely nothing in this game. It's a tough game, Mike. I would defer to you. Game 2, tough stuff. Hour and change, Mike. Fire on a Friday, and we got best bets.
We sure do. Got to get them timestamps down, my man. Let's go. And we got a video for it. Let's get after it. All right, I got a few for you, Shark. I'm going to give you the Washington Nationals first 5 plus 130. Let me give you that Freddie Freeman hits, runs, RBIs over 1.5 at minus 120. There's a random that I don't throw out there very often. I'm going to go with Cleveland at minus 126. I'll take the under in Tampa Bay and San Diego. I really like San Diego, but listen, I see your buy hat. It's cute. I'll go with the under 7.5 in that one. That is a minus 113. So I like the Nerfy. I shot the mark. I stopped Geo pointing the Nerfy out in that. I am taking the Boston no run first inning at minus 130. And then I've got Seattle. Give me the plus 140 for Seattle and give me the Phillies at minus 122. Last but not least, I'll take the over 8.5 in the Minnesota game. That's a pretty full card for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 plays, man. Yikes. Let's go.
Yeah, we got 15 games. We got 7 divisional games. We're in August. We got great information here.
Yeah.
All right, I got a handful of buy hats. I'm taking the Marlins for the game, minus 144. Taking the Rays, minus 126. Blue Jays, minus 142. Twins, minus 122. And Pirates, minus 112.
Can I get you? Let's do a parlay here. Let's go with let's go with the under 8 in that Houston game. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Houston and Mets?
Yeah.
What do you want to do with this? You want to get
I mean,
Milwaukee?
I could do,
Did you say Milwaukee? Milwaukee minus 1.5?
Yeah.
Just Milwaukee on the money line?
For the parlay money line is fine.
Yeah. All right. And then
I don't think the Dodgers are coming close to losing in Skubal's return. They're against a fledgling journeyman pitcher who gets crushed. That's got to be a Dodgers money line for the parlay.
All right, so we'll go Houston under 8, Milwaukee, and the LA Dodgers to close the show out. Shark, we're also closing the week out. I appreciate everybody that's found us here, you guys. Appreciate you guys enjoying the graphics. Love the comments coming in from you guys with the new updates for us here. Shark and I are going to be labbing it up, getting ready for the fall, so stay tuned. There's so much happening. The weekend starts now with the Sports Money Network. You've got racing with Razor going on out there and doing that thing. We're going to be kicking it off at 3 a.m. for UFC betting. Yeah, that's right. 3 a.m. Eastern. That sucks. But good news is it'll be done in time for some pancakes and maybe an omelet at the diner. So on behalf of my guy Shark and the Sports Money Network, appreciate all you guys. Hope you have a glorious weekend. And Shark and I will be back to do it again Monday at 12 p.m.
Yeah, that 3 a.m. wake-up call for the MMA. Mike, as a poker player, I don't talk poker, but oftentimes the best games are like 2 to 8 a.m. I know that life very well. So that 8 a.m. run for a bagel sandwich after a successful overnight session, you're going to love. That's going to be a vibe on that morning. So enjoy that. If you guys are up at 3 a.m., of course, you're going to be cashing tickets in the MMA and cashing tickets tonight and across the weekend in baseball. We appreciate you guys in the chat hanging out. We got some cynical minds in the chat. We love everybody, guys. Enjoy your life, bet responsibly, and we will see you guys on Monday. That is it for this one. MLB Bases Loaded, the Friday edition, August the 28th, 2026. For Mike, I am the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.